Renee Knorr, model, creative director, founder of Global Women Wealth Warriors, Wellness Hub, and GW3 Magazine. I dedicated my life and devoted my career into helping women and girls to achieving their goals. I've been passionate about empowering women and enriching men. This opportunity in working with the Global Women Wealth Warriors have afforded me the pleasure of traveling outside of the country to be a support unit, most importantly, to help impact and change lives. Our ultimate purpose is to help others to become whole from finance, spiritual, mental, as well as physical. We know there are challenges and obstacles to get you to the next level. However, it's time for you to level up, boss up, and welcome to Power to Soar. That's right. I'm Renee Knorr, grateful to be not only the founder of the Global Women Wealth Warriors, but also, guys, here as the GW3 Global Society. We are grateful to bridge that financial literacy gap between health and wellness. And we're always looking for ways of how we can empower, impact, and to help change lives throughout humanity. I want to thank Mr. Glenn Lundy for not only providing us with a platform with the Breakfast with Champions. Guys, if you're not already a member of the BWC Daily, let's go ahead on and add that to your list of definitely contact information. But you also want to be here with us from Monday through Friday from 5 a.m. all the way to right about 1 o'clock. We're here every day from 5 a.m. to 1 o'clock. And I'm grateful today that we're going to have a powerful segment. I'm definitely invited some of our guests is joining us today too. You know, we were earlier speaking about being iconic, and this is going to be a conversation that we're going to start first in the clubhouse. What does it mean to be iconic? What does it mean to be iconic? How many of you guys have individuals that you consider to be iconic? If you do, go ahead and put it in the chat. Who automatically you consider to be iconic? I want to hear from you. If you can do that for me, please tell me who it is that you would like to put in the chat. And right now we're going to be bringing Miss Vandy Flake up to the stage with us, alongside with Miss Dina is here with us in the house. And I know we have a couple more special guests that's going to be joining us. But good morning, ladies, and how are you guys doing today?
Good morning, Renee. I'm fabulous.
I know, right? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So when we think about iconic, let's see what the clubhouse have said. They automatically think about Diana Ross. Oh my goodness. Yes, Diana Ross is truly the boss. We also see Michelle Obama. I can also register with that as well. I believe my mother is iconic. That's what Trisha said. We only have 3 engagements. So let's see if we can get some more people to also include who and what do you think about when you hear the message of being iconic? I know for sure earlier today, you know, ladies, you can pour into this conversation as well. When you think about iconic, who do you think about? You know, I know you mentioned someone earlier this morning, Dina, and please make sure that they also see you right in the clubhouse. When you think about being iconic or who could be iconic, what do you think of automatically? Please share, Dina.
Yes. When I thought about the word who is iconic, excuse me, I mentioned Mary in the Bible, which is the mother of Jesus. She carried our Lord and Savior, and she was a virgin. And in that time, for a young lady to say that, okay, you know, I'm having a baby and you have no husband, you know, that you're scrutinized. And so I can imagine the responsibility of, you know, that Mary had to bring forth Jesus and in that time and in that age. So I find her to be very iconic because she stood strong and then she kept the faith. You know, when that angel began to come to her and say, you shall bear the son of Jesus, Mary agreed and she did just what she was supposed to do. So she was the perfect candidate. And I definitely see her as an icon. And I have one more thing that I wanted to mention. I don't see Jesus as an icon because he's a deity. He's God. He's sovereign. I can't even put him on human level. So that's just my take. So thank you.
I love that. I love that, guys. Let's give it up for Mary as being one of those icons. Thank you, Miss Dina, for sharing. And what about you, Vandy? When it comes down to icon or iconic, what do you think about? Please.
I think of all of those women heroes I used to read about, you know, when I was in fourth grade. I loved the biographies, you know, Florence Nightingale, Rosa Parks, you know, all of these women, you know, that just went through and they lived their life, but they stood out. They did a little bit more than was expected. They showed up, you know, consistently. And I think that's how they changed the world, is they showed up as their authentic selves. And so, you know, as I was trying to think of some, like, pick one, it was hard, but I definitely agree with Dina on Mary is a fabulous example. So yeah, as we just, you know, women who show up as their authentic selves and hold true to their values, those are the women that we revere hundreds of years of later, or thousands of years later, because they stay true to their values. And so that's kind of what I got from the being iconic. And I just love those women.
Absolutely, ladies. Absolutely. Not only does iconic mean, you know, widely recognition, and that's kind of like how we're recognizing some of these ladies as well as even men. I didn't hear you guys say a lot of the men, but we're going to talk about some of those men that have been iconic. And really, I want us to think about also the importance of how we're living our lives. How we're living our lives right now in order for us to also embrace that iconic role, that iconic, even places. Because when you think about iconic places, I automatically think about Paris. I'm sorry, guys. Come on now. We love traveling, and truly Paris is one of those places of being iconic, as well as Africa and some of the other destinations. But truly, it is something that's important of an, you know, it's, you know, being able to represent not only a certain era, a movement, or even a time, but also standing up for something that's important. Now, some people would even say Marilyn Monroe was truly iconic. We didn't think about that, right? Marilyn Monroe back in the 1950s, not only did she rock out with her sexuality, I can say it because that's what she brought to the table, but she also broke barriers. She broke barriers and she did it boldly. In addition to that, when you think about how boldly she did it in the 1950s, do you think they talked about her, guys? Do you think they talked about Marilyn Monroe? Heck, they're still talking about Marilyn Monroe. And that's one of the things about what it means to live, to become iconic. Okay, to become iconic. You know, when we sit down with the Breakfast with Champions with Mr. Glenn Lundy and watching him do what he loves doing, he's iconic. I didn't see that name in the chat. And think about this. Mr. Glenn Lundy has brought us all together with the Breakfast with Champions. You know, I want you to think about as well some of the other iconic individuals that have moved mountains for us. You know, when we think about biblical terms, you could think about what? David. Remember David, the young teen who was able to slay the giant? Oh my goodness. Still till today, that story is very memorable. You know, becoming not only iconic in God's image, but also becoming iconic to ourselves. It involves what? Commitment. And we're going to talk about that. I know we have some special guests that's going to be joining us. Commitment, as well as living in faith. And I would say this too, guys, living with humility. When you talked about Mary, Dina, automatically you cannot think, I mean, do you think they talked about Mary on those streets with her being a virgin walking around with a belly? Oh yes, they did. So automatically, guys, if you're going to be iconic, you also have to take on what? Leadership. You have to take on some leadership roles and realizing what people are saying about you, it's not about you at all. That's something between them. Somebody put that in the chat. When people are talking about you, it's not about you. It's about something that they have to deal with themselves. We just know in striving for our excellence, and that's what it relates to when you're becoming iconic, your excellence is having compassion, even forgiveness. And that's something that's truly that's kind of like one of those pillars that we have to all build ourselves with, forgiveness, and also seeking more of a positive impact. So today, not only we're talking about what does it take to be iconic, becoming iconic, but also we're going to talk to some iconic individuals such as yourselves. So when I look at the Breakfast with Champions, let's everybody look at the table here. Let's automatically put in the chat, who you see as iconic. Think about that. I love to hear Miss Araya. Araya McGarry is truly one of those icons. She's not only a woman on a mission, but she has been able to break down barriers by using her voice. By using her voice where the doctor said she would no longer speak again. She's iconic. And when you think about when you think about Dora Maria, I'm about to say Dina and Dora. So when you think about Dora Maria, in the whole movement with embracing our young kids, so therefore they can find that they're beautiful, especially with everything that's going on in the world, I like to say Dora Maria is iconic. We don't think about ourselves as being iconic, so we're going to talk about that, all right? We're going to talk about that. We're going to bring some more beautiful ladies to the table. And guess what, guys? We also have a special treat. One of our warriors just came back from Africa. That's right, Africa. So tell me this, guys. Tell me this. How is it that you are preparing your life and your journey to become iconic? Vandy, share that with us. And then after that, we're going to be bringing up our queen, Miss Shirley Jones, as well as one of those iconic leaders, Dr. Michelle Richards, who just returned back from Africa.
Awesome. Awesome. I think to be iconic for yourself means you have to share your voice. The world needs your story. And so whether that means becoming an author, which all of our GW3 women are amazing authors, some of us multi-book authors, but the world needs your story. So get it out there, share that story, write it out because somebody needs to hear it. Or being consistent on social media, share your story on social media, go live, show up in Clubhouse, start sharing your story and being consistent. I really feel like one of the differing factors between somebody that's iconic is they are consistent. They show up authentically for their values every single day. You can find their books. You can find them. John Maxwell says that he writes every single day. He reads every day. He writes every day. Not all day, but he does it consistently. And that's why he's such a prolific author. And Glenn Lundy, this Breakfast with Champions room, it's there because he shows up every single day. And that is what makes it there. He's not on the entire conference. He's collected other leaders to support him, but he shows up every single day. And that's what's built this iconic room. And I would say that this is an iconic room, Renee Knorr. So all of us that want to make an impact in the world, we have to show up. We have to show up and sell our story. It doesn't matter if you have the most amazing product or service in the world. If you do not share your story, if you do not come out there and be consistent, nobody's going to know about it because it's not really the best product. If you look at the history of marketing, it's not always the best product that's won. It's the best marketing. It's the best ones that have told their story and have shown up consistently that have won in the marketing game. And so for all of us watching this, we want to make an impact on the world. We want to make this world a better place. And the best way to do that is to show up authentically, to show up and share our story and be consistent because people need to see our story. We all have so many leaders in this room. And by us showing up consistently, sharing our knowledge, lifting each other all up together, it's how we make a difference in this world. And so those are some things that I would suggest make a big difference.
Absolutely, guys. Can you put some yellow hearts in the chat for Vandy just by pouring in? Not only did you recognize several things, it's not just about what you do solo, it's about what you do from a community experience, a community effect, right? And in addition to that, having the intentionality so therefore you can continue to be consistent each and every day. Right now, we've taken on this opportunity to do this 45 minutes by 7 a.m. as a group to work out. We've recommitted to ourselves to reclaim our life back as well as our health, right? In addition to that, we've been able to show up for each other each and every day. We pour in all the time. Why? Because being servants of humanity, we know we need each other. Through togetherness is what's going to keep us together. Wouldn't you agree, Ms. Dina?
Yes, most certainly.
All right. Well, you know what, guys? I want to go ahead on and bring up a special superstar all the way from Canada, Miss Shirley Jones, who's joining us right now with our GW3 Society. Woo, woo, woo. Hey, Miss Shirley, how are you doing, superstar?
I'm doing, I'm doing, I'm challenged and well.
I love it.
Mm.
You know, don't you just love honesty? I know, Miss Shirley, some of the challenge has to be with technology. Is that right?
No, technology is working wonders for me. I just right now want to raise $10,000 before 1 p.m.
Oh, wow. Well, you know what, Miss Shirley? You have work to do, and you already know as long as you have that plan of action to make things happen, you're going to get that done. I feel very honest in that aspect. But you know what, also? It's the plan of action. You know, we're talking today about what is it that we need to do to become iconic. Iconic. We have to also have what? Big goals. You heard Miss Shirley. Miss Shirley just threw it out there by 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have a goal to reach. Guys, how many of
Well,
you guys? Go ahead.
it's so exciting, and my iconic person really is Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins. Let's talk about Mary Poppins.
Well, I think that I have Mary Poppins energy.
Ooh.
I really believe it, and I've been saying things like spit spot, and I've, I've just been showing up, and I've been really listening to the Holy Spirit in my life. And as I say that, I feel very emotional, and my eyes have tears, although I'm not crying. But I feel that I come to the aid of, like Mary Poppins showed up in a family where the mother had disappeared, right? And she was really needed, right? She showed up where she was needed, and the people they hadn't even realized that they needed her. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
They hadn't even realized that they needed her. So that's how I feel about my mission in my life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that my message is really, really super needed, and and I have to show up where the Holy Spirit guides me.
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna go to see if I can get a car right after this
No,
at the Toyota dealer.
use those words. I will get a car because you already said by 1 p.m. You already said by 1 p.m. you need that goal to reach. So I will get a car at the Toyota dealer.
I will get a car, and I will get $10,000 at the Toyota dealer.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh,
That's what we're talking about. You know, you got to go ahead on and claim it. You not only have to claim it, you have to put it out in the universe. And now you have the community to support you. Can everybody please put some hearts up in the chat? If you're in the clubhouse, let's put some hearts up in the chat for Miss Shirley. Let's put some hearts up in the chat also for yourself for just being here today. You know, you've been given the opportunity to live your best life right now, Miss Shirley. And I love the fact that you know you have work to do. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. And then at 11:30, we're going to be bringing up our special guest. That's right, our special guest that just traveled right back from Africa. Now, you're talking about Miss Shirley being able to manifest something that you know is so needed and you can see it before you even have it in your hands. Is that fair to say?
absolutely. And you know, there's an African proverb that I live by, and it says, if you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much space.
Ooh. Yes, I love it. We live on the edge. If anybody in the clubhouse living on the edge, go ahead on and flash your mics. Anybody living on the edge? You know, there's a song also about that. If you're right now on the stage with us, Miss Trish, I see Miss Lena, I see Miss V as well. Guys, flash your mics if you're living on the edge. If you're down in the Curious Lounge right now and you want to come up on the stage, you want to be present, please. I see Miss Renee Hayes. I also see Mr. Roy, Mr. Robert. Love to have more energy because that's what we need. That energy, that vibration. We are live right now on YouTube as well as on Facebook. And we're talking about today becoming iconic. The process. What does it means to you? Becoming iconic, the process, what does it mean to you? We shared with you some of those individuals that we look to as being iconic. You know, Dina, she said, Mary, oh my goodness, Mary is at the top of my list. And even though our Lord Savior, Jesus Christ, I don't look at him as being iconic, I'm going to tell you a little secret. He too is iconic as well. Okay, I hope you heard me say that. Okay, Dina. Because he really is. And then, of course, Mary Poppins. Oh my goodness. Now, Mary Poppins, that was like one of our favorite movies to watch, right, Vandy, back in the day? And
Yep.
those songs, talk to us about that, Vandy.
Oh my goodness. I just loved her, how she came in and she was so magical, like everything she did. But then her main point was bringing the family back together, reminding the mom and dad of where their true priority was their two little kids. And, you know, that's where our main priority is. I just had a statistic that hit me really hard. It said 95% of the time we spend with our children is before they turn 18. Well, my daughter's about to turn 18 this summer, and that was shocking and scary to think that I've spent the most time with her. But then I look at other relationships. I look at Renee with her daughter. I, you know, look at Forbes Riley and McKenna Riley and their relationship. And I'm like, you know what? The world's changing. That may have been the statistic in the previous, but the world's changing. And I loved how Mary Poppins brought that family back together. And with technology, with the new opportunities, you know, moms and daughters are traveling together. Moms and daughters are doing business together. And, you know, moms and sons too. Like I've got 3 boys I love too. And it's fun right now. I'm helping them. They're doing their own little business with 4-H. And so I'm helping them get their costs all lined up and divided up so they understand that. But I think the true thing that Mary Poppins brought and why she's so there is she was so optimistic. She saw the big picture and nothing stood in her way. She went after those goals. And that was her goal, was to bring that family unit back together. And I think that as all of us, we need to look at our big goal. You know, when I get stuck, there's 3 things I do. I write down my gratitude. What am I grateful for? Then I look at that big vision like Mary Poppins did. What is that big vision? And then I go to work. Mary Poppins was a great example of that. She had a plan and she went after it consistently until she got that plan done. And then she passed the baton. And I think that's so crucial in all aspects of our lives, is taking that and, you know, using those together. So those are just some things that I got from her. You know, when you're stuck, you know, gratitude, look at that big vision. And you're so great at that, Renee. What's our big vision? We may not know how we're going to get there, but we have that big vision and then we just go to work. And I just love that.
Absolutely. You can agree with that also. Is that right, Dina?
Yes. When I look at myself, or I look at others like yourselves, like Queen Renee and our lady who's on here with us, the book of Revelations chapter 20 comes to mind. And it says there is a book of life. And it said in that book of life, our life is recorded. Our life is recorded. The things that we do on a daily basis, God is recording them. And we will stand before him. And what will your book say? That's the question that I ask everyone listening. What will your book of life say? So I say live life with purpose. Live life fulfilled. Dr. Miles Monroe said, die empty. And what he meant by that is die having fulfilled every purpose, everything that you were called to do on this earth. So that is my challenge for everyone. Live life full, fulfilled.
Absolutely. She's dropping the gems. Come on now.
The gems.
I absolutely appreciate that. You know, I'll give you guys this story because our next guest that's going to be joining us, not only we're talking about living life intentional. Look at Miss Shirley. Miss Shirley is on the go. She's making it happen. She said by 1 p.m., she's going to reach her goal. In addition to that, she's going to go get that car right now. And just look at Miss Shirley go. We're going to come back to Miss Shirley as she's on the move. And I just love that. She's out there in Canada, not only preparing herself for what she's getting ready to step into her greatness, but also what she's getting ready to put to work. And I just love that. So we'll come back to Mrs. Shirley. Woohoo! Let's go, Miss Shirley. Let's go. You know, guys, having the opportunity of being able to connect with us all on this app called the Clubhouse, not only has it been able to bring about relationships globally, you know, we've been able to also manifest some real life experiences. And with those real life experiences, even within the GW3 society, like you, Vandy, you're over there in Phoenix, in Arizona. We have Miss Dina over there in Palm Beach, Florida, and then Palm Springs, Florida. And then we have already Miss Shirley Jones on the move in Canada. Guys, this is just a little bit of what we're doing, and we're going to bring it about not only helping others to become iconic, but also reaching that fulfillment in doing what we say we're going to do. Almost 2 years now, literally almost 2 years, we were in this app and we had the vision of wanting to travel to Africa. Not only do we have that vision of wanting to go to Africa, but we automatically had to get that big toe in the soil of Africa. And by the end of December, not only was that able to come to fruition, we were able to also make an impact to a village. In March, we returned. But in the process of us returning back to Africa, we were able to bring some of our GW3 Global Women Wealth Warriors with us. This next person here, not only did she see me over in Africa, she saw me sitting down in the homes of those beautiful women. Oh my God, in the different villages. She said at that point in time, she knew she wanted to not only to embark upon this, but also to be a part of this. And I'm so grateful that Dr. Michelle Riches did say yes. Not only did she come to Africa, she also started her own movement, guys, her own movement right there in Africa. We're so grateful and so honored to have her with us today. She just traveled right back from Liberia. I'm sorry, I said it wrong. She just traveled back from Iberia, and how she did a movement by shaking up the world. And that's what it takes in becoming iconic. So without further ado, guys, let's welcome our very own Dr. Michelle Richards. Woo, 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 woo. Hey, beautiful. I love it. We got the
So I said, let me go for my yellow hat. Hello, somebody. So
Hello,
I
somebody.
can represent my glory brand and just be like my sister friend, none other than the beautiful Renee Knorr. You know, because let me tell you something, guys. We put our big toes in the sands in Tanzania. And I'm telling you, when I was in Jamaica on missions and I saw her in Zanzibar, and I'm like, oh my God, you know, I've always said I'm not going to Africa, no, because I said too many things happen in Africa, so I'm not gonna go, blah 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 blah. But when I saw Renee in Africa, something jumped in my spirit. And so I decided, you know what? Let me take all the fear out. Let me do what I know I'm supposed to do. And I jumped. I called her immediately from Jamaica and I said, listen, I'm in Jamaica. When are you going back to Africa? I want to go with you. And she's like, oh, really? I'm leaving in March. I'm like, no way. If that was a little bit too quick, let's rewind. And, you know, we went together. We had a phenomenal time. So I just had to put my yellow hat on to honor my sister because of her leading me to Africa and just opening up the doors and giving me access. I was able to go back recently. So today, I know I have other icons in my life, but today you are my African queen. I want to salute you. You're an icon in my heart. And, you know, last night I was just watching you on Instagram and I was just, you know, tears came to my eyes because what I achieved with my team in Liberia, it's because God used you to take that fear of going back to Africa out of me. When I said, I don't want to travel alone. I don't travel so far by myself. She says, beautiful one, you could do it. I'm like, no, all the way to Africa by myself. She's like, I said, I'm going to ask this one to go. Nobody said yes. I had to go by myself because the Lord wanted to speak to me and to prepare me for this journey that I just came from in Africa. So I salute you, woman of God. I love you. And to all the icons that are here, the ones that are listening to my voice, I know we are icons in our own right. People think that you have to do something great and big and mighty to be an icon. You could be a housewife, staying home with the kids, and you're an icon because you decided, you know what? You are going to do something that will gain you respect as a mom, as a wife. So, you know, people think that you have to go to Africa, you have to go all over the world. No, it's not like that. That's not what iconic is.
I absolutely love it. Guys, let's put some love hearts in the chat for our very own Dr. Michelle Richards. You know, not only did she express, you really, you know, we are really our own celebrities. Each person, as I poured out with the Dora Marias, alongside with the Christine Howards, as well as Miss Vandy Flake, alongside with Miss Dina, Miss Dina, alongside with Dr. Michelle Richards. But you know what the great gift about this, guys? You have to know that you are enough. Yes, she did whine, guys. She did whine. She's like, I don't want to travel by myself. I don't want to travel by myself. And I too could understand that. But sometimes, guys, you just have to know when you have the God in you, you never travel by yourself. You always are traveling with someone else. And that's the God that had to be within you, Michelle. And you know, I am so proud of you. It's so funny how here she was telling me she's so proud of me. I'm like, no, I'm so proud of you. Guys, you got to know how to celebrate each other. Celebrating each other is so important. So Michelle, you just literally just said it all over the globe. She's gone from instant blue. I mean, did I say it right? She's
Istanbul,
gone from Turkey.
Istanbul.
Yes. She's gone from Turkey, Jamaica, alongside with, I mean, where haven't you
Croatia. I was in Croatia, I was in Jamaica, I was in Turkey, I was in Italy.
Yes, Italy.
And then and now I decided I met one of my mentees that I coach on Clubhouse in Annabella's room actually. And so she asked me to coach her and I said, okay. And in my coaching sessions with her, I realized that she was from Liberia. And that's just, you know, I called a pastor that I preached for a couple years ago who has been inviting me to Liberia. And I'm like, nah, I see you laying on your bed with malaria. I don't think so. And then when Renee took me to Africa, I'm like, it's cool. You know what? It's not all that everybody's trying to make it look so bad. And then I decided, you know what? It's time. And the red carpet, they rolled out the red, the white, the blue, the green, the pink carpet, police escort. I preached at like 4 churches. I met the vice president. I gave her gifts. She gave me gifts. I brought her a proclamation from the city of Tamarack. I gave the mayor of Monrovia, Liberia, the key to the city, to the region actually. And it was just amazing how many lives we were able to touch. Because Renee, I brought them laptops, I brought them cell phones, clothing, shoes, sanitary napkins for the ladies because they have a problem with sanitary napkins. I'm now going to try to reach out to another company that does the reusable ones to get those when I'm going back. And I can't say too much, but I'm trying myself. I just felt the heart of Shirley because myself, now that I'm back and I'm going back in February to do some work there, I need to raise $20,000 for the at youth risk population, at youth population that, you know, at risk youth, population, because it's so many of them that their parents were in the Civil War and now they're homeless. They have 71,000 homeless children living on the streets in Liberia.
Yes, it's so disheartening. You know, as I share with you, as you were watching, as I was watching you travel throughout the different destinations, I'm like, I know I need to be there with my sister. So guess what? In February, we will be together so we can make that impact to change their lives. And not only we're so excited for you, grateful that you've been able to just that mustard seed of belief.
Listen.
Of belief.
And you know, to know that you know, they were so receptive of us. And I in my closing, I was a keynote speaker for the award ceremony at the end because I gave 80 certificates to frontline workers, judges, just the man on the street. So we brought 80 persons there, and we honored them, because that's what I do everywhere I go for my conference that's called Bad Boys Meet Bad Girls for Christ. And so every country that I go in, my goal is to leave 1 million of those certificates all over the world. And so when we honored them, they were just such big smiles. And one thing I want to say, they made me and my team humanitarian ambassadors for Liberia. So that is just another title, another
Come on now.
thing that I have to deal with. But I'm just excited.
Yes.
Because one thing I want to say to everyone that's listening, if you know that your heart is with the country of Liberia, go Google them. They're now being said that they're one of the poorest countries in the world. And for me, I tell them we're going to wipe that off the World Wide Web, and they need running water. So that's one of my goals, to help them to get running water.
Well, not only we're so proud of you and your journey, Dr. Michelle Richards, but also the excitement, and that's something that really, I want you to share this with, the fans, just the viewers. Not only we're here on YouTube, we're here on the Facebook, we're right in the clubhouse as well with the Breakfast with Champions. Guys, if you haven't already shared out the room, continue on sharing out this room. It's about the impact. That's what it takes, and we're going into becoming iconic. The process. Now, Michelle, was it an easy journey?
It really was, because I put a lot of effort in it. I just did not get up today and say I'm going to Africa tomorrow. So for the last 6 or 7 months, I was working with the pastor, and he's very structured. I'm not the structured girl, but he kept me in line, and he's very structured. Personalities clashed a little bit. We're all strong women that went, and so we had to deal with each other for a minute. But, for the most part, we understood the mission. We understood the purpose, and they understood that, this is a mission and a vision that the Lord gave me. So we just have to work with it, and that we did. So it was amazing how we just came together, gelled together, and were able to just be a blessing to them. So yeah, I when they talk about iconic, the respect that we got, oh my God, I can't even start. I've been all over the world, and I've never gotten this amount of respect that I got in Liberia. When I tell you, red carpets everywhere we go, as we, the police escort was always with us. They don't allow us to open the doors. They lifted us out of the vans. I mean, just respect. And Renee, I always look at an icon back in the day, like, oh, Bob Marley. I'm from Jamaica, so Bob Marley is an icon. Yeah, man, One Love, redemption song, because he traveled the world and he gave back, and so I would always look at people like, most of the artists, like a Mother Teresa, people like those is who I look at icons. And the Lord spoke to me and said, what about the average person that's touching lives that you're not seeing, that everybody's not seeing? They are icons too. They don't have to be out there showing, not necessarily showing, but they don't have to out there where everybody can see what they do, but there are persons that are behind the scenes that are doing so well and touching lives, and people are not looking at them as icon because they're not on the big stage. So, it wasn't as easy as I would have liked it. And then the heat, oh my God, I like your new tan. I'm like, I'm from Jamaica. I'm used to the heat, but that heat, when I finished preaching, oh my God, I'm like, listen, but it was worth it. I wish I was there today.
Oh, wow.
And I don't want to say that too loud to my kids here, but it's just the truth. It's just so much. Everybody says if you go to Liberia and you don't leave with an emotional impact, then you really did not go to Liberia.
Absolutely. Well, not only what you just shared with us, you're giving us big smiles as well as chills as well. It does take some planning, some proper preparation, as well as the consistency in not only being able to, as it stands right now, ambassador, come on now, ambassador of Africa, how you doing? It also takes discipline.
Yes.
It takes discipline. Mm-hmm. And I would say this, it's not easy, because Think about this, Michelle. A lot of people think it's easy just to fly over to Africa, to fly over to some of these different parts of the world. It is not. Your body has to go through it's like you have to readjust to everything.
Everything. Oh,
Oh
and
my
talk about that yellow fever vaccine that you have to get. Talk
Yeah.
about me still taking my malaria pills because you have to take it before you go, while you're there, and after you return. So it's a lot of that. My 55-year-old body that I want to say still feels like 20, but
That's
sometimes
right.
it puts me up and say, listen, let's keep it moving.
That's
So
right.
yeah,
I love
that part, Renee, I will say it was not easy. What your body go through and the jet lag. Sometimes I don't know if it's 10 o'clock or if it's midnight. I'm not sure,
Yes, I
but I
know.
just keep it moving.
Well, I think it's fair to say that not only becoming iconic in the process, it includes that cultural as well as that historical significance.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
With that, it's helping to build legacy. Because not only were you able to
Come
lead
on.
and touch, we're building legacies beyond, oh my goodness, even just beyond our vision. And that's something that's important, guys. You got to have faith beyond what you can see when you're really living your life and soaring to new levels to bring about hope as well as change. And
Yes.
Michelle, you truly was able to do that.
Thank you so much. Thank you for passing the baton on to me and for inviting me and for giving me the access that I needed. And while we were there in Zanzibar, you made it so comfortable and so easy, and we had so much fun. And of course, we were a blessing because your charity at the time was to bless the woman with sewing machines, and that touched my heart. Truly touched my heart, because when we see how 20 women to one sewing machine, and Renee did not think it robbery to take us from the US, to take us there to purchase additional machines for them so they don't have to line up all the time, waiting on one sewing machine. So, you are really truly an icon, and what you did there in Zanzibar and what you continue to do around the world, just encouraging us to stay healthy, to come on, let's do this challenge. Come on, this big belly that you got, Evangelist, you gotta go.
I love you.
Oh,
Now,
you need to do the 75 hard. And I'm like, Renee,
we're
I
doing
can't do
our
7.
45, we're doing a 45-7 right now. 45 minutes by 7 a.m. We're working out 45 minutes by 7 a.m. Guys, feel free to go to the Global Women Wealth Warriors website, Global Women Wealth Warriors website. You can sign up and be a part of this movement. We released our newsletter, Michelle, and talking about incredible activities. And we are going live every day. That's right, every day for these 30 days. It has just been so impactful. Not only we're getting rid of all of our extra, as you said, little cushions and those love handles, but we're also recommitting ourselves because, of course, with the GW3 Book Club, we're reading Think and Grow Rich by the one and only Miss Sharon Letcher. This is the one for women. We've read, of course, the one by Mr. Napoleon Hill over and over again, right, Vandy?
We have, and it's funny, I actually got the opportunity to hear Miss Sharon Letcher live, and her book, she is just an iconic woman who has made a difference. And you listen to her story of how many things went wrong to get those books out and to be in that right place. And I loved her vision on that. But yeah, read those books, become that person.
And let's talk about that failure. Guys, you have to fail at everything that you're doing if you want to make a result. If you want to make iconic legacy, like Michael Jordan, look how many times he failed. Steve Harvey, let's go there. Look how many times he failed. So in order for you to realize that your true purpose is about not focusing on the fact that you're going to fail, but fail quickly so you can get through it and keep sticking to it. Okay, so keep sticking to it. I know, Miss Dina, you're just loving all of this great energy. Pour in, and then what we're gonna do, we're gonna go return back into the clubhouse because we truly want to get that engagement right there. Miss Dina, take it away, beauty.
Yes, I believe failure is a part of the process, actually, right? Because once we do something wrong, we are able to identify, hey, this is where I went wrong, and then we go back in and we make the corrections. And then that structure or whatever we're trying to build then becomes perfect. So embrace failure. Embrace when you hear the no, but always ask why and always try to figure out the equation. Thank you.
I love it. I love it. So Dr. Michelle Richards, wait, hold on. Ambassador Dr. Michelle Richards. Let's put some respect on that name. Ambassador of Africa, Dr. Michelle Richards. What would you like to leave the viewers right here on YouTube as well as Facebook with those last words of wisdom, please?
You know, at the beginning of the year, I asked the Lord to give me wisdom. That was my one thing that I asked him for. So it's not by chance that you're even asking me to give words of wisdom. And as we're talking about icons, I want everybody to look at themselves today as an icon. You are an icon in your own right. The things you do, the things you say, the place you go, the people that you touch that respect you, it's because they see you in the light of an icon. Because everything that we do should be that we're not doing it for ourselves. So I know each and every person, if you're here on the clubhouse, for Vendi, for Glendina, and for Miss Shirley, and not to mention you, my beautiful one, Renee, we do everything not because of ourselves, but because of others. So I see you as an icon, not because you're doing it on just, just getting by and you're making money and you're rich and you're successful, but it's because of who it is that you're helping. You cannot be an icon if you're not helping someone or a cause. So if you are listening to the sound of my voice and you're really not doing something to help others, then you need to make a change. But I know each and every one of you that's here, I see you on the clubhouse, I know you're watching on Facebook and everywhere else. You are an icon in your own right. And if you don't think so, let's go. Let's change that.
Absolutely. You've heard it right here from our very own ambassador. Oh my goodness, Dr.
It has a ring to it. Hey.
I gotta say, oh, come on now. Dr. Michelle Richards. That's what I'm talking about. And you know what? It just gives me so much joy. Here we are, little girls growing up, never even thought about becoming ambassadors of Africa.
Never.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And this is just the beginning because we're preparing for our next trip to Africa, Kenya. We'll be in Kenya in September. That's right. Oh my goodness. I'm looking so forward to Dr. Michelle Richards. It's been an honor as well as a privilege to have you here with us today. You brought so much energy and so much life to today's presentation. Guys, make sure you follow Dr. Michelle Richards. Truly, I'll be there in Orlando, Florida. We'll have an opportunity of getting those big hugs. And I'll say this also, guys, because of Dr. Michelle Richards, I too received a Lifetime Achievement Award thanks to Dr. Michelle Richards right there in Fort Lauderdale. And I love you, my sister. Thank you for everything that you continue to do to bless millions, billions, and it's an honor to have you here. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Dr. Michelle Richards.
Thank you so much.
Ambassador Dr. Michelle Richards. Woo, 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 woo. Guys, we're going to be returning right back into the clubhouse so we can continue on closing out this segment here. Iconic. The process. What does it mean to you? It's been an honor to have you here with the Global Women Wealth Warriors as well as the GW3 Society, but also with the Breakfast with Champions. That's right, the Breakfast with Champions. And it's all about how we keep showing up in this world because you too, you're iconic. So you know what I always say? Make sure you hold your shoulders back and keep your head up. It's time for you to go blaze the universe. Why? Because the world needs another game changer, and that game changer is you. We'll see you guys on the other side of your greatness. Bye for now.